Hi guys! When I started my journey on the ketogenic diet, which started in 2023, I did it for weight loss. I really did not understand anything about my internal health, about visceral fat, subcutaneous. I never understood about anything else. I just thought fat was fat. It was on the outside of your body and it was too much of it in my case. But I did always feel this kind of stuffy feeling as well, as if my body was packed with something, but obviously it was. So that was visceral fat. So as my journey has progressed into keto and fasting and all the other things that I've learned, I would say definitely that you should go low carb because of health. So what it does as well is it cleans up your blood, which in my case, I would say was probably very sludgy. I was on a high carb diet for a long time. I was a vegetarian for a few years, which is fine, but I didn't eat much protein at all. It was all bread, pasta, kind of stuff. And I thought that was good. I thought having a blood sugar spike where you ate something, a little carbohydrate, and you felt good for a while, I thought that was good. But it turned out that wasn't so good because you're overawing your pancreas. It's releasing too much insulin on an ongoing basis. You know nothing about this. I didn't know anything about this. I did biology in school, but I didn't correlate health. And then we're dealing with the food pyramid. So I thought my diet was brilliant. Loads of carbs. I never really understood about blood sugar spiking. It took me a while to get used to not having the spikes because when you go low carb, at the beginning, you're like, oh, well, maybe I'm dying, there's no like that elevation you get after eating a carb. So I mean, I still eat carbs sometimes, but I'm not a purist, but definitely it cleans out your insides. It cleans out the visceral fat, the shitty fat, the yellow crappy fat around your organs so you don't even realize it's there, and your liver. And I mean, people have fatty livers now. That was once known as the disease of alcoholics. So now we have fatty livers in children and babies. So it's usually you see it with the tum-tum. When you're younger, it won't show so much, which is why a lot of people who do a lot of sports don't realize that they may have visceral fat on the inside that they don't realize that's causing some trouble, and maybe causing some chronic illness. Maybe they're fatigue, and you're really fit looking. I mean, I am shocked in the last kind of 2 years. Everybody that I know that's gotten things like cancer, they are all skinny runners. They're all very fit. They're all either walkers or like they're really healthy. I would have been the most slobby of that group. So I think that there's definitely something up with people not understanding that carb loading should be banned completely. It is not good for your system. I think you think it is and it feels good, and if I was going for a run, I would feel good about it, but your blood sugar will stay stable even on the ketogenic diet, and it will just continue on as far, unless you drink alcohol or something, it tends to drop. That's the funny thing. I've worn a CGM, a continuous glucose monitor. When you drink alcohol, in actual fact, afterwards, your blood sugar will drop. So alcohol is only processed in the liver. So there's a little bit of a conundrum, but it's the next day that you may feel might be heavier or whatever. So that's a little bit of a funny one. But other than that, most things are processed, except fructose is also processed in the liver, which is why we often don't see the adverse effects of eating too much fruit. So I don't eat fruit at all, except maybe once every 3 months. I have a bowl of berries with a big load of cream, and the berries are usually out of the freezer, so it's kind of like ice cream, except you got all these cold berries. Sometimes I heat them up in the microwave, and then I put some cream on them, and I just gobble that up. And I usually do it for the polyphenols, but also because I want a sugar rush sometimes. So keto is great I feel clean on the inside. I feel incredible. I just can't recommend it enough for everything: physical health, brain health, body health. Yeah, of course I could get hit by a bus. I know. But I'm much more sharp. I feel great. It's just a great feeling. Of course, most of us don't want to feel like that, and I'm not anti-carb. I see the carnivore people, they crack me up. I think you need carbs and alcohol to be creative. So I do indulge in those things every now and again. But I think overall, I do a good bit of fasting. I recently did a 47-hour fast. I did a 60-hour fast last week. Now, no one likes fasting. I'm sorry, but that's a myth. No one likes fasting. You do feel great. Up to about 24 hours. 24 to 36 hours is probably the hardest part, because you're switching over fully from your burning your ingested food into your fat burning. So it can be a little bit off-putting, and you might get a little bit of keto flu if you've been eating a lot of carbs in the previous kind of week. Keto flu is like a headache, but it will pass. I would usually increase my electrolytes. Always take electrolytes when you're fasting. I made a big mistake at the very beginning when I was fasting, and I had no idea about electrolytes. I never heard of electrolytes. I wasn't really into running and sport and stuff like that. I do a lot of walking now, not at the moment. But the electrolytes are so important. I thought it was blood sugar. At the day I was doing like my first 36-hour fast, it was way long time ago, and I nearly collapsed, and I was like, oh my God, but I took a chocolate bar, it didn't help. And it turned out, I didn't even know that day, but it turned out later to be salt. Salt saved me, and then I realized about electrolytes. I did more research and stuff like that. So anyway, guys, give it a try. You will feel so good, but you can still have your fun times. Like, I'm going to get ready now for the month of November to get ready for Christmas. I usually do a kind of a fasting November, and I try to stay off alcohol and carbs for the whole month, which would be so hard. But anyway, talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, how do I stop this thing? I'm using my mouse. I have it sitting on the laptop, and I'm using my mouse, which is not working.